Good afternoon and welcome to this workshop about product design. My name is Lorenzo Gecchelin and I am recording this video at Raffles, Milano. The idea today is to take you on a journey that lets you understand how to transform an idea, a concept, into a physical object, into a physical product. As I mentioned 1 week ago, the topic about this workshop will be something related to music and mobile phones. And if you think about these two things, you might come to think about wireless speakers. These are the products that make sense in terms of music and mobile phones. Of course, those products completely rely on the relationship I mentioned last week, that is about materials, forms, function, and technologies. If you open one of these products, you see inside a bunch of electronic stuff. And for example, a battery and other devices that are far too complex for such half an hour workshop we are trying to do today. So my idea is to switch on something that is defined passive amplifiers. It's a different type of approach. As you can see, there's the mobile phone, and then there's this trumpet-shaped form, which creates the amplification of the sound. In order to understand why it works, and this is not the only model you can find on the market. For example, you have different type of this type of products. The bigger one, the white one, is made out of ceramic, while the other one is wooden made. They both rely on the same physics of sound, of spreading sound into a medium, which is the air. And I'll show you here. As you can see in this drawing, you have two different type of sound. If you speak into a simple tube as this one, you'll have the first condition of sound spreading. The voice enters this side and goes out on the other side with the same let's say dimension. This is not the correct word, but okay. It enters here and it goes down out on the other side. But if you look at the picture below, where the mouth is speaking into a cone-shaped form, then you have something called the spreading of sound. So as you can see in the picture, in the big picture below, okay, you see the blue arrow is your mouth. The noise, the noise you generate with your mouth enter this cone-shaped form, and thanks to the conical shape, it spreads as it goes out on the other side. It pretty much works as a megaphone. Here is another example. If we cut through this product I showed you before, you can see it works the same way. It enters on top of the product, and as the noise goes through the cone, it gets amplified by the conic shape. This is more a horn, to be honest. The horn shape of the product. So this is the physics that behind this product, which can be built with simple paper and using just some tape and some simple tools. So this is the challenge I want to do today with you. Just to make sure, this is another picture that really shows how this simple device can work even with kids' voice. And here is an example of something you can actually buy online. And as you can see, is something that is pre-cutted and pre-folded. So once you open the package you receive, you simply need to follow the instruction in order to get this cone-shaped shape that allows the noise, the music coming from the speaker of your mobile phone to spread in a more, let's say, stretched way in the room, in the environment around you. And if I look at this product as it comes from the package, it is a simple flat piece of cardboard. So let's try to replicate it in a very simple way, just using few materials I asked you to prepare for today's workshop. As you can see, I have a simple piece of paper, just an A4 size paper, and if you simply use this paper as when you prepare a paper airplane, you fold it this way and you overlap the two sides this way, roughly this way. If you follow these directions and then you firmly bend the paper, you should get something like this. I'll show you also in another picture. So once you have these, I want you to draw an arc like so, in order to create a more harmonic shape. And once you have this trace, you simply cut it like so. At this point, you have something that is still open and flat. In order to create a cone shape volume, you need to use some tape like that. Okay, and now this shape, it's something that becomes three-dimensional. So pretty easy and simple to achieve. At this point, I want you to get your scissors ready again. But first, you need to do something else. Sorry. You need to draw this type of shape here. And I want you to cut away all this part. See? This is the pocket that will allow us to get as close as possible to the beginning of the cone, the speaker of the mobile phone, which is here. See? So if I do this way, again, this is just a test for you today. If you look at it, you can now see that the speaker of the phone is right at the beginning of the cone. So let me cut it a little bit more. Okay, now we are ready to test it, if it really works. So let's do this way. Select something. This is without. This is with. Of course, the It's not dramatically enhanced, but it does something. It's not going to revolutionize the industry of music, this product, but as you can see, we had an idea, we created a simple mock-up, and we managed to build this mock-up in order to test our idea. Of course, there are different type of solutions you might have. If you look at these pictures, you can find different solutions online. For example, taking a tube, you can simply cut the top of it and insert your mobile phone and take and use the endings of the tube as a megaphone. Alternatively, you can simply create a stand like this one with no extra expanding feature of the sound. Up to you. This is something else I found online. It's something made out of a magazine. So, for example, if I take this piece of paper and I leave some space between the two folds, I can have something like this, where I can use as a stand for the mobile. There are tons of examples. The one I like at most is the one I show you here, which is made out of this tube. Then you need to let's say see or trace where the tube creates the connection, and in order to create the space to connect one with the other, like so. This one is pre-cutted, but it's pretty easy to do. Okay, this way you have pretty much a good way to drive the sound from the center to the side of this amplifier. We simply need to measure the size of our phone, the width, and then maybe instead of using scissors, you can use this cutter. And get the right cut in order to let the cardboard to be folded and the telephone to be inserted as it is here. Let's test it. Also this one. Beside the music taste, it seems to work pretty good. Let's try with and without. As you can see, the direction of the sound is less, this is spread around the environment, while if I insert here, it's more in my direction. And this is thanks to the physics of noise and sound and the way it spreads in the environment. So that was just an example. I will show you other pictures you can find online of this project, but this is exactly what I have just done with you. And the result can be fun to do. If you Google passive or cardboard speakers online, you might find also this one, which is kind of complex. Two different colors of cardboard, very good self-standing volume. So you can really explore these items just looking on internet. There are other examples like this one made out of marble, a little bit more difficult to to prepare, to be honest, as well as you have things that are ready. Those are downloadable files for 3D printing. So this is also another option. Same physical effect. You start from something narrow, and then you spread the noise, the music. You enlarge, you stretch the wavelength, and then you get a better result at the end of the cone. So same logic, same physics, but different solutions. This is another one I like at most, and it's a seashell that creates, it has a natural, let's say, helix inside, a volume that has an helix structure, which provides the same effect of amplifying the noise. I don't know if you didn't follow so far because I was quite fast. The point is that I want to show you other examples of how product designer proceed in his task, in his craft. He usually starts with a brief, and this is something we made here at school, I think a year ago. The brief was to create, that there was a 2 days workshop done with the students, with young students, those that were not sure whether to subscribe here, apply for raffles or not. They came here for a couple of days, and their brief was, what if we have street food delivered with those cars, and what if we need something to sit on while or after buying the food from this type of streetcars? And of course, you have different solutions. The same company provide very nice solutions, but not really feasible. For example, the two yellow armchairs are pretty nice, but they are not handy to be taken around with all the stuff you have to take into the streetcar. So others have different type of furnitures, but they all don't fit into the car, and they are not handy to move. So the idea was to create something out of cardboard, which is not only sustainable, but is also light to carry, and most of the time foldable. And this is the process we made with the students. We started expressing the needs and the pain points and the gain points of different solutions, and then keeping in mind these concepts just on paper, just on sticky notes. We started to draw and to experiment with shapes and diagrams and sketches in general. And those sketches, for example, one group made this, you can see the little gray chair was created as a test. It was that big, and you can simply test that it was strong enough, even if it was made out of simple cardboard. It was able to carry the weight of one person. So the students carried on this idea. The face is scribbled for privacy reasons, of course. And they managed to create more and more detailed design decision on this product, on this first idea. And then they managed to create a full-size mock-up, which is the one I showed here. And so the process was pretty linear. They started with a general idea, then they refined this concept into more and more feasible concept and a final product. As you can see, there's still the little one, the little mock-up, which proved that the idea was okay, and then the rest followed. So this is something that, in general, is like the way and the procedure and the methodology every product designer follows. We start from an idea, maybe something that is just a bunch of lines, and then we keep on refining this idea to the point that we make it possible, if possible. Maybe there's some questions from people listening to this workshop. I'll be glad to listen to them.
Yes, is first question. Does product design have to do with other materials? If so, which are the other materials we usually use?
Okay, for today's workshop, we only relied on cardboard and simple materials like paper. But of course, we start from these simple materials and we go on with a different one as the years as the course proceed. For example, we have styrofoam, which is another simple to use and simple to cut material, but we also have a workshop for woodworking and some metal working, and also, of course, 3D printers for files that you first create in a three-dimensional program, and then you let them print in 3D.
Okay, another question. Does the school have workshop or lab classes where to work with materials and with machineries available for students?
Yes, of course. Depending on the type of material you have to deal with, it's necessary to have the right space. The lab material we have downstairs at the ground floor is fully equipped to work with either wood and metal. And so it's a safe place. You can work, you can make it dirty because it's usual what it is. But it's very handy. I mean, you go there, you do your stuff, and then you can get your things done in a very effective way. So yes, we have workshop for doing mock-up and such things.
The last question is this. Is product design such a practical thing? I'm not sure I'm able to cut and use glue things as the teacher has shown so far.
Yeah, of course, you have to do things with your hands. Most of the time, it's just sketching, drawing, but it's also nice to experiment with your hands and really having to do with materials. So you don't have to be afraid if you are not a handy person. You can become it easily. The idea is to take you by hand from the first day and take you to the full journey to become a real and a complete product designer. So no problem.
No other question.
Okay. I'd like you to remind you the social channels we have, which is Instagram at Raffles Milano, and then we have either Facebook and YouTube. You'll see them written on the chat in this workshop, and then I can also remind you the email, which is triennali@rm-modaanddesign.it. I know it's difficult to remember, but again, you will see it written under my video. So I think that's all for now, folks. I hope to see you here soon. Bye-bye.